This is Behind the Sabre, a student-run podcast that shows the real family at Benedictine College Preparatory.
Welcome back to Behind the Sabre. This is the student-run podcast where we explore the many unique lives here at Benedictine. Today, we're joined by Jackson Hall, and Jack is the headquarters company commander. Examples of his hard work lie in the classroom, on the parade deck, but most recently on the football field, where Jack helped lead us to another football state championship. Jack, how are you feeling today?
I feel good. It's starting to warm up a little bit.
Good. I'm feeling good as well. Jack, can you describe, we're going to straight into it, can you describe who or what made everything possible this season?
Definitely football is a team game, so all of the coaching, definitely all the players just buying in. Especially like the off-season workouts. It was really great this year. Participation was great.
Mm-hmm.
We were all working hard. And yeah, we have great coaches here and just the whole team just buying in.
Yeah, and going off of that, can you describe why the off season is such an important
Yeah.
part of our program here at
Mm.
Benedictine?
Yeah, the offseason is so important because of how difficult it is. It really builds like a base. Like Coach Lilly always talks about it. It gives you a chance to be good if you have a good offseason. If you don't have a good offseason, you're not going to be good. You don't have that base, like that foundation, and it really builds the team when you have a really like difficult offseason.
Yeah, and do you think that's part of our mindset here?
Yeah,
And if
I've def-
if so, can you like elaborate on what our mindset actually is going into each game? What are we thinking about?
yeah, definitely. Like Coach Vaughn one time before a game, he was like do hard stuff together. That's our mindset. Play together, play as a team. We're a family, and we just play hard.
And do you think that's something that differentiates Benedictine's program from other schools? The fact that we're a military school,
Mm,
we go through hard things all the time. So
definitely.
how does that play into our
Yeah.
sports?
Definitely, I feel like the military helps us because it's not easy. It's a lot easier to go to different schools, like public schools. You get to sleep in. Here, you got to be up 7:30, saluting the flag in like cold weather, and it really builds that team chemistry to another level that you don't have at other schools.
Mhm.
So yeah.
And can you just touch on like what makes Benedictine football so special?
I would say, I talk about it all the time, like the brotherhood. Like that's my favorite part about football. Like not even playing the sport, just like the relationships I've made through football is just because there's nothing else like it. There's no other sport where it's the ultimate team sport. There's no other sport where if one guy isn't doing their job, the whole play is messed up. So just the team chemistry is my favorite part about it.
Definitely. And for some schools, football starts in the summer, but for us, we're out in the weight room starting like when are we starting for the next season?
Yeah, well, they're already starting now. I mean, I'm in there just, training for college, but
Yeah.
I already know Carson, the other guys, they're in Landon and Jawan. They're already starting now in the winter. So it starts about like December, January is when all season workouts start.
Yeah, and you just mentioned college. You committed for football, right?
Yeah,
Where's that?
Randolph Macon.
Randolph Macon. And this past season you were first team all state and all metro. How important of an accomplishment is that to you and your family and all your role models?
It's really cool just because like I mean, obviously football is a team game, but the individual accolades are cool also, especially like coming from when I came in here as a freshman, I was tiny. I was like 5'4", 120 pounds, not fast, not athletic. I really like worked my way up. So I'm pretty proud of it. My parents are very proud of it. And yeah, it's a cool honor to have. But at the end of the day, it is a team game. And I mean, I try to not to like, individual honors kind of don't really matter in football, but it is a cool, yeah.
And you mentioned your freshman year being this little guy, but you definitely worked your way up the ranks. How did that happen? Like,
Um,
what was in the back of your mind just pushing you to be better?
Yeah, it was really people like, people like messing with me saying like, like you're not very good at football, like you're little. I was like, dang, I gotta just work to prove them wrong kind of thing. So I was just got in the weight room, ran track, did everything I could to, did footwork drills all over the summer, did everything I could to get better. And just progressively year by year I got better.
That's one thing I like is, especially Coach Lilly, what he harps on is not even acknowledging our opponent, just playing our game, focusing on ourselves, trying to be better each and every day. First practice of 2-a-days, it's practice 1. Second practice on the first day of 2 days, practice 2. How important do you think our coaches are to our success here?
Yeah, coaches are very important. Like not even just like the knowledge, like about the knowledge about football, because they're very smart. Like I feel like we have one of the best coaching staffs in like the state for sure. Just on like a knowledge level, but then on like the mental part of football, like just focusing on us. It's all about us. Play together, do what we do. Don't play into anyone else. We don't do a ton of like talking. Let them talk. We do what we do. We focus on ourselves. We celebrate with our team. We don't, when we win, we don't mess with other people. We celebrate with us. And
Yeah.
I really love that about Benedictine.
You've been here for 5 years, you reclassed last year. Did you have a favorite season?
Mm. This year was my favorite just because it was my senior year and it was just memories that I'll never forget. Last year was also very fun. We went 11-1, best record in Benedictine history. So that was a pretty historic season. But definitely just senior year, just being just all like the things that go with your senior year. It's like I'll never forget it.
Yeah. Each game we play is a challenge to us and to beat our opponent, and also for getting better. But how do the rivalries here in Richmond in the 804, how do those like inspire us to be better even more?
Yeah, I love the rivalries. I mean, because I know some of the Trinity kids and the St. Chris kids, and I just think like, if
Yeah.
I see them in public, I gotta know I just beat them. I gotta know that. Like, I can't see them be like, know that I let them beat me. So it just adds another level to the game. Yeah.
So last year when we unfortunately lost to Trinity in the regular season, how sweet was the state championship versus them?
It was really sweet because I knew when we lost that first game, that wasn't us. We didn't play our game.
Mhm.
Like we played into their game, like Coach Lilly always talks about. And we just didn't play our game. And in the state championship, we did what we did all season and beat them. So
Yeah,
yeah, it
and
felt
and
really
then
good.
this season, we beat them, and then in the regular season, and then in the postseason, in the semifinals, we were losing up until the 4th quarter, and then
Yeah.
what happened for us to make that switch and be like, "Let's play our game, let's be who we are,
Mm.
and let's just get the job done and move on."
Yeah. Yeah. So that game was pretty crazy. The first game I was pretty surprised that we beat them by that much. I remember I said after the game, I was like, that's why we beat those guys, because we know how to do the little things. And that's just like part of being a cadet I talked about earlier. Like I think being a military school adds another level to like our football team. And it's just about doing those little things right. And once you do the little things right, the big things happen. And then the second game, for a little bit, I thought our season was over. But I just I had to instill in the guys, just keep playing no matter, like, play your hardest even if you're losing. And then on special teams, back to the little things. We just got all of our blocks set up right, and Rod and JoJo made great plays. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So, Jack, you're a team captain, you're a sponsoring officer, headquarters company commander. Talk to me about leadership and where does that come from?
It's just a gift that God gave me. I feel like that's really one of the best gifts I have. It's really um dealing with people is pretty hard sometimes, but it's really knowing when to pick them up a lot of the times and knowing when to push them. And at times, during the season, people are like get annoyed by me a lot. And leadership, you just don't care sometimes. You got to do what you got to do. Um, and yeah, you just gotta push your teammates as hard as you possibly can, hold them to a very high standard. If they're not doing what you want them to do, you gotta get them in line. And really, one thing that I would always try to do is, um, if the coaches are telling you to do something, like Coach Burks, you'd always say, "Run off the field." That's one of those little things, and I try to echo that. And that's what if the coach says something, I'm trying to echo that. Same with, like, even just like in on the mental side of football, like, I gotta get the coverages in. I gotta do all the hard things as a leader. And yeah, part of being a leader is just you have to be the hardest worker. You have to always be on time. That's like the other side. You have to talk it and like walk the walk. You can't ever be late to a meeting. You can't ever be late to practice. You have to be in the weight room. You gotta be yeah, you just always have to be bought in. So people see that buy-in, they're like, and then they respect you more, and then they'll listen to you.
So, adding on to what you've accomplished on the football field, can you explain how your leadership characteristics has translated into like everyday life as a cadet?
Yeah, it's definitely translated well. It's very similar. Like football is like it simulates life. That's why I love it so much. But yeah, it just teaches you like in the classroom, doing the little things. You got to do your homework. Got to be diligent. Um, and people see that and they start to respect you. Like when you have good grades and you're not getting in trouble. Not to say I don't get in trouble, but I try to stay out of trouble as much as possible. But yeah, they see that and they start to, they start following you and listening to you.
Yep. So do you have any role models who were good leaders here at Benedictine when you were a freshman?
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Henry Dolan is the first one that comes to mind. He's Fred Dolan's older brother. He was his junior year because his senior year was like 4 game season. His junior year, he was first team All Metro. He played the same position on defense that I played, and he played running back. And just his leadership and his work ethic really like inspired me, and just how he carried himself. Yeah.
Yeah, and has his inspiration affected the way you carry yourself today, knowing that freshmen are looking up to you?
Definitely, because the way I looked up to him, I want people to look up to me like that, so I do, like, the things that he would do to make me, like, listen to him, I remember those things, and I'll do those, I'll, like, simulate those things to other people so, they'll listen to me more and, respect me.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite hobbies outside of football?
Um, I don't really do too much outside of football, but, I like to I'm really into reading Tim Tebow's books. He's a great writer.
Mhm.
He's one of my role models. I fish a little bit, when I can, and I like to, shoot some skeet a little bit
Yeah.
too.
Are you a saltwater or freshwater kind of guy?
I love saltwater fishing. I don't get to do it much though,
Yeah.
but definitely saltwater.
So let's say Friday formation just ended, Friday afternoon formation. You're going home, you got no sports. What are you doing for the weekend? What are your plans?
Mm. That it just depends on the weekend, but, definitely gotta, yeah, I know you said no sports, but I gotta do something after school.
I mean, you could still work out.
Yeah, gotta get a workout in or something.
Mm.
And then a weekend, Saturday, it all just depends, try to hang out with some friends, try to get another, like, field work session in. Um, Sunday, go to church.
So what impact did your family have on you? Would you say that they're your biggest supporter in
Definitely,
life?
especially my mom. She might have been after the football season, I know, she was like, "Dang, no more football. I can't hang out with all, like, your friends' parents and stuff." She might have been sadder than I was about, football season ending, but she's definitely my biggest supporter. My dad also, um, my brother and sister are my cousins, they would try to make it up for games, my grandparents. I really had a lot of support, and I really appreciated all of that support.
You told me before that your brother actually graduated, might have been 2022,
2022, yeah.
from Trinity,
Yep.
which is Benedictine's, like, biggest
Yeah.
rivalry as of recently. Can you, like, if your older brother went to Trinity, why did you choose Benedictine?
Yeah.
What was so special?
That's a great question. So I started out in the middies program, the Benedictine middies football, and that kind of got me interested in the school. And I was always all about the military growing up. So just like the military and just like it's not easy to go here. And I just like that. That just brought me in. Like I remember Coach Lilly when I was, because when he was the admissions director, I was in his room, and he was like, "It's not going to be easy. You're gonna have to get up early." Um, Eat breakfast, get here at 7:20 before formations start, make sure your uniform's right, and then you're gonna have to go through your 8 classes, go through practice, and then you're gonna go home, have to study, get your uniform right for the next day, and go to sleep, so you can get enough sleep for the next day. And I was just like, I just love that. Like that hard, like gritty lifestyle, like that just brought me in.
So if there's a young 8th grader out there who can't decide where to go to high school, what would you tell them about Benedictine?
It's a great place. It's not easy to go here, like I said, and it builds you into a man for sure. Um, like for me, physically and mentally, like I look back as a freshman, and I've grown so much. Mostly as a person, just from how the school develops you, because they're hard on you. Like if I mess up, if I get in trouble, I'm hearing about it from Coach Vaughn or Coach Lilly. If I'm not on my A game, they're gonna let me know.
Yeah, and you mentioned, like, the developing factor of Benedictine. How do you feel a different person freshman year than 5 years later?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
really crazy just to look on, like, how much I've matured, um, just, like, I was kinda socially awkward when I was younger in for my freshman year, but now I'm really comfortable, like, being around people, talking to people. It just makes it makes you be uncomfortable as a freshman. Remember, like, Coach Yo's class, we'd have to do a lot of public speaking, and now like just recently at my church, we had this thing called Youth Sunday, and I gave like a sermon, and I was a little nervous, but I was pretty calm, and I have to accredit that to Benedictine and just how they build you. They make you get out of your comfort zone, which is
yeah.
how you grow.
And would you say, or what would you say is your favorite tradition here at Benedictine?
That's a good one. Yeah, so my favorite tradition is probably the homecoming march,
Mm.
and how when we run out on the football field, they have the bagpipes and the drums. That always gets me fired up. Like I love that. I love the bagpipes and stuff.
And how does that represent, like, the Benedictine community? You know, you got, like,
Mm,
all the alumni
yeah.
circling around the football field. How special is it to be at the school in that moment?
Yeah, it's really special. That's one of my favorite games all year. Because there's like 3,000 alumni
Mhm.
coming out here to watch you, and just like how much they love Benedictine. And I know when I leave here, I'm gonna feel the same way. I'm just gonna want to come back.
Yeah. And, you know, you're saying you're gonna wanna come back. What are you gonna miss the most, and why would you keep coming back?
On the school side, just like the people, and yeah, the people, like the friends I've made. And then the football side, just having that everyone says high school football is the most fun, and Benedictine, I think it's on another level. Like the camaraderie we have here is just it's like no other.
Yeah. So how is, like, a Benedictine we're, like, a really small school, 300 students. How do you think that the relationships we have here, you know, going through orientation and all that
Mhm.
is different than, like, a public school, like Freeman, for example?
Yeah, you know everyone here, and you don't have orientation at public schools. You're not doing push-ups with your classmates. It's just you're not praying with your classmates. It's just not the same, and that's one thing that's one of my favorite things. How the like orientation is a big part of how we build relationships. Uh,
All right, wrapping things up here, is there anyone that you have a special connection with that you wanna shout out that has contributed to our success on the football field or in school even?
Definitely I'll do football first. Roger McWilliams, definitely Doug Clavert, Riker, they're all captains. They did great for us. They're always helping me lead in the weight room and on the field. And then in the classroom, I know Lane was on this podcast. He's one of my good friends. And we when his faith's really important to him, and it's really important to me. So we have a really close relationship just with sharing our faith with each other.
Mhm. Sweet, and, that'll be it for today's episode, but today we were here with Jackson Hall. Jack, thanks for coming with us, and we look forward to seeing y'all on the next episode. You can watch this on our YouTube channel and shorts on Instagram Reels at Behind the Sabre. Thank you.